Hello everybody, it's Dusty Sage here from MiceChat.com, and I'm obviously on an attraction of some sort. This is the Disneyland Railroad, and I am joined today by somebody very special.
Hi.
That is Stephen Clark. He's the guy who started D23 and is today a Senior Vice President, Fox Entertainment. And I can't tell you how exciting it is to have you joining me at Disneyland and to be on our live today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we've got Stephen all mic'd up there, and I am also mic'd, so you'll be able to hear us hopefully pretty well, and you'll also be able to ask questions in the comments below. We have a team of people that are paying attention. In fact, we'll see some of them when we get off the train. We're going to take the train around to Toontown. We're at Main Street Station right now. We have Mike Kindrich and Natalie and Suzanne with us. They're going to keep an eye on the comments, so when we get off the train, they'll let us know any questions you have. Until then, I'm going to turn this around so that you can enjoy our little halfway trip around Disneyland. My finger up here.
Oh my.
Thank you for being the backdrop. I appreciate it. So we're just about to take off here. We were in the primeval world a second ago. We were hoping we'd be able to start the video while you were in there, but it was a little too soon. I know, Christine, it's so exciting to have Stephen with us today. We have a lot to cover in today's live video. We're going to walk from Toontown, where there's some new things in the Toontown fountain. We're going to walk over to Splash Mountain, which has, of course, lost its stop. Over in New Orleans Square, Tiana's Palace is just about ready to reopen. We've got a great look inside for you of all the stuff that's just ready to go. Those walls are going to come down any minute. We'll wander by the Adventureland treehouse to see what's happening there, and then we're going to switch parks and take you all over to California Adventure, where another major thing is about to open, San Francisco. So much to see. We've obviously been in this station a long time, a little over 3 minutes. The reason that it's taking so long is there was a fire over at the New Orleans Square train station at the beginning of the year, and it ruined some sensors. So instead of being able to run 3 trains and have it tell them automatically when to dispatch, they now have to call to each other manually, and they're only running 2 trains, so fewer trains, and it takes a lot longer in each station before they know it's safe for them to depart. They try to keep the trains about halfway across the park from each other so they don't have any accidental collisions. That would be awful. Yes, any time is a good time to ride the train. This is my go-to. The train and the Mark Twain are my forever favorites. I do wish that the People Mover would come back.
Oh, I miss the People Mover.
That, right?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Fun for the whole family kind of attraction. They have to find a way to bring that back. Of course, we have been hearing lots of rumors that could happen.
Holiday Festival on the Disneyland Railroad. During our journey today, we need everyone to remain fully seated. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. And please supervise your children. Ensure they're away from those large train door openings, either on the left or on the seat next to you behind a bench. Next stop is New Orleans Square Station.
Woohoo! We're on our way, folks. This here train is moving.
You know, when I was an attractions host, I used to carpool with someone whose shift started before mine, so I'd always come and sit on the train, read a book, or also on the porch on Main Street. I'd sit, read a book, hang out before my shift. Pretty much, during the summers, pretty much every day, for like an hour.
Love it.
I loved it.
There's so few places you can do that. The train, you can board, so you wait in line to get on, but once you're on, they don't get to kick you off. You could spend the whole day on the train.
Oh yeah, I would sit in the corner and just read my book, look at the sights, talk to people. Loved it.
Once again, we've come to an unexpected stop. Everyone, please remain seated. We'll be on our way momentarily. Thank you.
That's been our day, Stephen.
See you in the queue. Next train will be here in about 10 minutes after we depart. Trains are set to arrive every 10 minutes. Thank you.
We've been in this station almost that long. So earlier we rode Star Tours, and we had an unexpected stop, which I've never had before on Star Tours.
It was quite a jolt.
they were making announcements into the cabin telling people not to film and all that kind of stuff, which I'd never heard before. And then the whole thing came to a sudden stop. Our heads hit the wall behind us. We were in the back row. And then they came in and just restarted it.
Well, the part he's leaving out is that I, for the first time in my life, was the rebel spy.
You were the rebel spy.
And I tried to take a picture of it, and then they got on the PA system and said no photos and video, and then the ride stopped. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be escorted off this ride.
But it wasn't.
But it was
you.
something
Somebody
else.
was recording. And then at the exit, we asked, do you have a picture?
Once again, folks, please remain fully seated or we will stop fuel commotion. Please stay in your seats. Thank you.
And make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember that for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad.
I always love this part of the train. We're passing behind Jungle Cruise here.
It's just so tranquil, nice breeze. It's just a great way to relax and get away from the hustle of the park.
But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there, literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails.
Could be Dusty and Steven. Oh, yeah.
A gazelle.
A gazelle, the butt of a gazelle.
Just ahead is the
Backside of
Orland
gazelle.
Square Station.
The
This
backside.
station also serves Frontierland and Critter Country.
I'm so
If you'll
classy.
be leaving us here, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you're getting off. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment.
So didn't there used to be a
Normally,
panther there?
yeah, that's where he would be.
Oh, right there.
Oh, there he is, back there behind the tree. He moved. You thought those were made out of stone.
They're real and ready to pounce.
They're real. We'll have just a moment to talk here when we get into the station, folks.
Alright friends, we're now steaming ahead into Orland Square Station. During this time we need everyone to remain fully seated so the train comes to a full and complete stop. If you're staying on board, our next stop is Mickey's Toontown Depot. And if you're leaving us here, this is a great stop for all things to Orland Square, Frontierland, Critter Country, Adventureland, and it'll be our closest stop to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Once again friends, please remain seated so the train comes to a full and complete stop, and welcome to the Bayou.
So we'll be back here for you to see in a second, folks, of the construction on Tiana's Palace, the former French market.
Still moving, wait for it.
It looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to stand for 1 second because you'll be able to kind of see chairs and tables have been set up. New sign is on the front of the building. The smokestacks are up. Looks wonderful.
All right, friends, if you're staying on board, we need everyone to slide all the way down to the end of the rows. Make sure backpacks and jackets are in place on your lap, just so we can accommodate as many guests as possible. Thank you.
When we boarded in Tomorrowland, there was no one else in the station. And here, the station is packed. The two most popular places to get on the train are New Orleans Station and, depending on the time of the day, Main Street Station. See all those people there. That's why they were asking everyone to kind of slide down their rows so they could get more people in. So Stephen and I have known each other since the early days of D23, but really kind of reconnected recently. I went on a press event to New Orleans, and here we are, New Orleans Square. And Stephen just happened to be on that trip, and it was all about all the new Tiana stuff. So the new ride that's taking over Splash Mountain, and about the restaurant, a little bit about the shop, and talk to the Imagineers and find out all about the backstories and how they were researching. It was really amazing, Stephen.
Yeah, I've never seen the parks do a press event like that before, where they actually take a group to, you know, like a mini research trip with the Imagineers. You know, it was incredible. I mean, we toured the Bayou, saw alligators and
amazing.
all sorts of wildlife. And
Those museums.
the Jazz Museum was incredible. The music at the Preservation Hall.
Yes, the food.
Amazing. Oh my God, food. We had food for days.
You know, I've never had. What were those fried oyster things called that we had?
Oh,
Remember how good those were?
Those were delicious. I can't remember what they were called. Oysters Rockefeller?
Yeah, well, maybe. Rockefellers, I think, are raw.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
But they were great.
They were great.
We had
whatever they
fritters,
were.
beignets.
Then we went to Café Du Monde. We went off agenda one night.
We may have walked for miles. It was really amazing to see a French Quarter like that. Was incredible and looks just like this, exactly like this.
Yep.
There are places in New Orleans Square that if you took an up-close shot, nobody would know if you were in New Orleans or at Disneyland. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I am excited about the new ride. I mean, there are certain aspects of it that I'm a little, uneasy about. Too much
Tiana's
about
Foods?
Yes, Tiana's Foods and missing ingredients and employee owned. When has Disney ever had anything owned by an employee? But the ride itself, I think, is going to be amazing. The Bayou and the fireflies.
Yeah. One of my favorite Dusty moments was when you asked the question we were all thinking about, will Critter Country be renamed, will the borders change and whatnot. But you had a really good, have you shared your answer for why it could stay the same? Well, because the salt mines and Tiana's Foods aren't actually in New Orleans. So this would be New Orleans Square, and you can go over to Critter Country and experience the salt mines and Tiana's Foods.
Exactly.
I thought that was a great, reasonable explanation.
And since then, I mean, they have indicated it's staying Critter Country. I mean, it's not firm, but they just redid the narration on the Mark Twain. And when you pass the construction for Splash Mountain, it mentions will be Tiana's Bayou, located in Critter Country.
Oh, great.
So,
well,
but it didn't mean it's going to stay that way. But for now, they're saying that construction is in Critter Country.
Well, you sure gave them a really good excuse for keeping it.
And maybe I'll take credit.
You should. You can. One thing that does make me happy about what's happening here at Tiana's Palace is you can see the mint julep bar is still there. So that survived.
Yep.
Which is great. Maybe one day do you think we'll get some mint juleps with some octane?
Well, I think directly upstairs from where that is Club 33, and I know they've got mint juleps with all the appropriate adult
bourbon and whatnot.
Liquors inside.
Yum.
Speaking of, did you hear they're adding alcohol to all the sit-down restaurants at Disneyland?
That's great.
All of them.
Sign me up. I'm ready to go. Try all the restaurants with alcohol.
I think when I was younger, I would have been so up in arms about any changes to the parks the way that Walt had them. But as I get older, I sometimes just need a drink.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong sitting down and having a nice meal and a cocktail or a glass of wine with, good food.
Particularly with the
Those of you joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. For your own safety, please remain seated while the train is in motion, and please keep your hands, arms, feet, legs, and heads inside at all times. Parents and guardians, supervise your children. Make sure little ones are seated on your lap or on the seat and away from the train entrances. Our next stop is Toontown Depot.
That's where we'll be getting off, folks. And just to give you an idea now, we've been on the train, on this live stream for 13 minutes. So you were in New Orleans Square with us, and we've only made it one stop. So if you were going all the way around the park, stopping at all 4 stops, it would be like 45-minute to an hour-long trip all the way around. That's a long journey on the train. Normally it takes 20 minutes. So it used to be that a trip all the way around the park on the train takes about 20 minutes. Look how many people are in the station.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños.
Here we go, inside the tunnel. I'm sure that they've got the Bayou blocked off so you don't see anything for the new ride, but that's where we're headed.
And wherever there's magic, there's bound to be surprises. Blue skies and sunshine guaranteed.
It's very dark in here. They've even turned off the lighting in the little caves. They used to have little spots of color to keep you from getting too scared in the dark. And here, they have like garage doors that are rolled down in front of the old showboat scene, so you can't see anything.
I was hoping there'd be a little preview of what's going on in there,
Would have been
like
nice.
they used to do a Splash Mountain.
But here's the construction. There's a little preview for you.
Oh, that's cool. Chicken and Hill is gone. Or at least the top of it.
nails on a chalkboard sound. Christy says, I know the mom of those kids needs a drink. And the kids that were just screaming.
Funny.
We appreciate your comments. We should give a prize for the best ones. That's awesome.
Make sure our little ones are fully seated, folks, throughout the remainder of our journey today.
Rivers of America.
Let's take a friend, please supervise your kiddos. Make sure they're fully seated. Thank you.
This is my favorite part of the journey.
Mine too.
Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see.
A great comment about when will we hear about the fall foods? Very soon. So they usually start putting out menus right about now. We have posted the Halloween menus already. So take a look at Mice Chat, search for Halloween, and pull up the newest. I've never noticed that little beaver before. He's so cute.
Yeah. That's cute.
In the Great River Valley below.
Kim Irvine did this redo of the river back here when they shortened the river to make room for Galaxy's Edge. All of this is new, so they added all this extra walk work and this bridge that we're on, the waterfalls. So they added a little something to make up for what was lost.
And it is beautiful back here.
I love it.
Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation to move west into this great frontier.
Once again, your children need to remain fully seated on the bench next to you. Thank you.
Darn wild and downright unbelievable, like on Big Thunder Mountain.
The guests today have been so unruly on every attraction we've been on. They're having to make announcements like, have people just lost their minds?
I've never heard so many instructions about how to behave on the attractions
On
from
every
the cast
attraction.
members. Yeah.
Once again, everybody, please remain seated while the train is in motion.
Wow. The train should be sponsored by WD-40. Squeaky. Here's the Fox family, folks.
Oh, little baby fox.
I love them. The little baby fox inside the log. And these new little trees here. They've even planted some new things. So beautiful yellow
This tunnel
birds.
signals our transition from the frontier to another kind of gear. The ones you'll find on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown, a cartoon home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train
There's the
comes to a full
Fantasyland
stop.
Theater, folks. If you're wondering where we are, we're just about to pull into Toontown Station. On this side of the tracks is the theater with the wonderful Lion King show. It's so good. And then right behind us is Toontown, where we're headed.
Your stop for Mickey's Toontown. It's a small world and the rest of Fantasyland.
Lots of people here, too. We picked the right station, that's for sure.
Yep.
Can you imagine having to wait for more than one train?
Oh
If you're leaving
no.
us
be
here,
like
watch your step
half
as
an
you
hour
do
or
so.
more.
For those of you staying on board, we need everyone to slide away from the center of the train cars, down towards the end of the rows, just so we can fill the train as much as possible. Thank you.
Right. We are headed out. That's a contraption. You could drive that home.
Do you get on attractions during the live?
Every
very
once
often?
in a while.
Yeah, that's great.
And here we are, My Chat crew. We've got Natalie, Mike, Suzanne. You all want to join us for a little trip to Toontown? Look how long this line is. Do you see a line for the train right now, folks? It's that long. Don't get in it, because it will take forever. But we got very lucky. You all were able to join us for a little bit of the tour around the park. Signage here for Lion King. Now, Stephen, while we're walking over towards Toontown, real quick, just so that folks can get caught up with you, now you're at Fox Entertainment now.
Yeah, so we do all the shows that you see on, like if you live in LA, KTTV Fox, so it's the Fox affiliates, is broadcast television. So, but we work with Disney a lot actually. Disney acquired, Simpsons, Family Guy, 911, 911 Lone Star. Those are shows that we air on Fox. But yeah, I've been there for 2 years now in corporate communications, and it's great to be on the Fox Studios lot. But we still work with a lot of Disney people there because all the 20th FX people there. They're filming Santa Claus season 2 of the series on our back lot. Yeah, so
awesome.
Still lots of Disney connections.
The great thing for us folks is that he's not technically a Disney employee, so he can say whatever he thinks.
I can speak freely now.
They can't fire him.
That's funny.
Here we go into Toontown. Now you got kiddos, so this must be a land your kids would love.
Oh, my kids would love the new Runaway Railway. Well, so did I. Amazing attraction.
The most Toonish thing in the whole land is that tunnel. When you go under it, it makes all those noises because when you get into the rest of the land, they actually have a very calm soundtrack.
Yeah.
So that's the wildest thing.
That's true. Until you go on Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. I think we rode that during a live stream recently.
Oh, seriously?
Roger Rabbit. We also rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and they're so different. I thought there for a while they might actually replace Roger Rabbit. I know they had been hoping to do something new there, but I think the expense of redoing this whole land and making that new ride and then redoing Roger was just too much. But I have some thoughts on something. I want to get your thoughts. Do you remember the fountain that used to be right over here?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yes, there was
the trolley used to go around it.
The trolley used to go around. There used to be a fountain.
With Roger Rabbit.
With Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they created this lawn so that people would have a place they could have a perfect picnic and relax. But really, people just sit in the shade and on the benches that are around the back. But wouldn't it be nice if they could at least bring that Roger Rabbit that was at the center of the fountain back and put him on a pedestal or something in the center of the land, and maybe a little garden around it with some more seating, because people need more seating, it seems like.
Yeah, they have that statue sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Oh, somewhere.
I wonder if the archives got it.
I'm sure they did, don't you think?
I hope so.
Okay, asset tag everything on Splash Mountain. We'll talk about that when we get over there. Roger Rabbit has been one of the longest waits in the land since it returned. It's a 55-minute wait. Usually has a longer wait than the new ride, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
I wish they could figure out whatever the rights issues are with Roger Rabbit so we could see him in the park again.
I can't even begin
One of my
to wrap my
favorite
head around the
characters.
rights. Can you? So many different companies own all those characters.
Yeah. But nice to just have a Roger Rabbit walk around. That's all I'm asking for.
Yes. They did some great shorts of Roger Rabbit after that film came out. I think they did 3 of them. 30-minute wait, standby wait for this ride, which is great, folks. So 55 minutes for Roger Rabbit, the ancient ride, and only a 30-minute wait for the new ride.
Well, I guess this one's an extremely high capacity ride.
That's right.
Is that what gets you to that number?
Yeah. But we really came back here for this, folks. So we've been showing you all the new additions lately. They've added some characters around the bottom. We showed you how the lily pads work. We showed you some new water effects. Well, they have finally gotten these clams to work. So now all of the effects in the fountain are working. Every once in a while, the water in these little clams shoots up really, really high, so they don't just stay like this all the time. It's really fun. Now, and I'm trying to remember, I think this works just by pressing down. You can see water squirts out when you press down on the lily pad, so that's an interactive element for the kids. And these beautiful water lilies there, and there's a sleeping turtle, a blind fish, he's really just happy, folks, and our favorite, Judgmental Frog.
Judgmental Frog.
Here we go, we'll zoom in through the new water effects into... So what do you think about us adding Stephen Clark to the video today? Judgmental. So judgmental. We're going to take a quick look back here. I have a feeling that Donald's boat is probably still closed off. It's only about 400 degrees out here today, so it'd be lovely for the kids to be able to splash around and soak their diapers back here at Donald's boat, but they can't do that because I see the wall is up. They have never been able to get this open, and what's the holdup? Could build a whole brand new water park in the length of time this thing has just been sitting closed. We know everything was installed, so it has to be some sort of a issue with like water drainage or something like that. You can see all closed off right here, sadly. 30-minute wait for Gadget's Go Coaster over here. So the waits in the land are not terrible. Gadget's Go Coaster can easily get to an hour. It's only a 30-second or less ride, so don't ever wait 30 minutes for that ride, folks. Not worth it.
I don't think I realized it was that short.
Oh, it's so short.
30 seconds, wow.
Less than that, actually. Yeah, some parks that have that same exact coaster, it's an off-the-shelf coaster, they'll run you through twice. But Disney can't do that. Too many people. Look how nice this looks. They put a big awning over the slides there, so there's a little bit of shade for the kids. Helps keep the slides from getting too hot. The rollers were getting scorchy. But it's a beautiful area. So many trees and things. They've really paid attention to adding a little bit of shade to Toontown. This center area, of course, very hot. The issue today isn't really the heat as much as it is the humidity.
Yeah, it's a little sticky. But there's a nice breeze now.
Yes, there is. Because we're, I think, at the highest point in the park. When you're back here, you're higher than you are in other parts of the park. A little bit of a tight squeeze to get in and out because they parked so many strollers off to the side. When they built Toontown, it was the 80s, not as many people used strollers, and strollers weren't as big. So the way that our society utilizes strollers has changed a lot. Both the size of the strollers and the ages at which kids use them.
Yeah, a lot of these double wide strollers now.
Yeah, it's all unique. So you see all of this yellow tape everywhere on the ground, and that's because they're having to give up walkway space for stroller parking, which they didn't used to have to do. So we're going to skip Tomorrowland today because there's really nothing new for us to show over there, and we have so much land to cover. And we're getting a little bit of a late start since we started you all on the train, but we thought it might be nice to have a little bit of the Disneyland experience, and there's nothing more Disneyland than the train. And Stephen probably knows the stories better than I do, but Walt Disney really built Disneyland to be his giant model train set.
100%. And we were just saying that it's so great to see that things like the Grand Canyon diorama and Primeval World have survived the test of time. And they just enhanced them recently too. I had never noticed lightning effects and all that before.
Lightning effects, so nice, and there's a rainbow that's projected on the back. It's not just painted there; it's projected, so it looks more real.
Yeah.
Kim Irvine again. A lot of the little enhancements to the park that really have character and charm but don't generate revenue are Kim Irvine kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, she did a really nice job on the Indiana Jones rehab.
She did.
I felt like the effects were really bright, vibrant.
Not a question, but a comment. Stephen Clark is the nicest guy.
Oh my gosh.
That's my mom.
Don't let him know.
Did my mom write that?
Somebody commented that Stephen Clark is the nicest guy, and he is. That's a secret though, because we don't want him to get a big head and demand payment for this video.
My payment is spending time with you.
Oh my gosh.
And Mark Ferguson just sent 100 stars.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for the support, folks. We really appreciate it. I might take Stephen over to DCA afterwards, and we'll go up to that pass holder lounge and get him a drink.
Oh, I could
for
use
all
a
this
drink.
walking.
That sounds great.
Cool him down.
So when I was an intern at Disneyland Publicity, my very first job was to write the press release for Storybook Land when they added
Frozen?
Prince Eric's
yes.
castle and the Cave of Wonders. And then I also had to run the photo shoot, and Rene Bardot, who you probably remember was the main photographer at Disneyland, his first assignment was the Nixon Walt photo when they opened the monorail.
Yes.
And he worked with me to make sure that, of course, everything was perfect. But Rene was the greatest guy. He passed away a few years back, but
That's right. He did all those photos of Bob Gurr and Nixon on the monorail platform.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you wrote us a story about Rene.
Oh, did
Mike?
you?
I did.
Oh, that's great.
In
I'd love to see it.
His wonderful daughter provided me all the information for the story, and it was great.
Yeah, that's neat.
Great to meet her.
Oh, Toad is open.
Oh, amazing.
So yesterday when I was here, I had pictures of a wall. I don't know if one of you can take a couple quick shots for me. Just it reopened here, but Toad is reopened,
The
everybody.
colors
That
look
is
great.
great news. The shield above the door there looks like new.
Semper
And the
Absurda.
gold is shiny. The gold is very goldy.
Yeah.
And look at all this scroll work up here. I'm going to zoom you all in, so you're going to lose the audio for 1 second while we zoom. This Fantasyland facade redo all throughout the land has been absolutely stunning. So many beautiful details. Look how nice that looks. Gorgeous.
Dusty, it's only a 15-minute wait. We'll have to come back later.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't keep people 15 minutes waiting on these videos. They leave us. That's wonderful. Doesn't that look nice? They even repainted the rooftop back here blue to match the castle. So it used to have the old color scheme, and now it matches the castle. Lovely. I like seeing that. I wonder if they did any big stuff on the inside. We'll have to figure that out. Here's how much fans we are. Even Steven is taking pictures. We're gonna have to keep an eye on him. We don't want him starting his own blog to compete with us.
Never. I would never do that.
They're playing Bare Necessities on the carousel. We're heading back to a shady part of the park. We're gonna go back on Thunder Trail. Some nice new enhancements, not new to you all, but in the recent scheme of things, since Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened, they had to change that trail a little bit. A wild looking garden here. Pretty. And I've mentioned this on previous videos, but you know, I do this every Friday at 5, and we're covering the same exact territory. And it's really important for me, so that I don't get bored with this, to stop and smell the roses and enjoy the details. So while sometimes we point out a few negative things or things we'd like to see change, for the most part, we love everything. Like this, for example, a drive-by belling.
Oh, Belle.
Look, it's Belle right there.
I had an idea about doing that.
That was lovely. That guest shook Belle's hand and said, "It's lovely to meet you." This has also been redone here, folks, so all the scrims are down on this side of Fantasyland. Lovely repainting of the rooftops. I really like the signs for the women and men's room. I'm just going to show you here really fast. I don't want to freak anyone out, but I've got a camera at the bathroom, but you can see there's the women's sign, and here's the men's. One of our readers pointed out that it looked like those characters were being strangled, but when you look up close, they are definitely not being strangled.
Strangled only by Stromboli.
So we're in the wilderness now. There's no attractions other than Big Thunder, which you cannot enter from this trail. So it's really just a long walk without any things. You know, you can't buy anything back here. You can't board any attractions. Just take your time, stroll through, enjoy the natural setting. And I appreciate that Disneyland has some spaces like this still. So we're walking on what used to be the mine train to Nature's Wonderland, this area back here. Because Big Thunder sort of replaced that attraction, but it doesn't have a footprint as big as that attraction. beautiful area. What is your favorite attraction, Stephen?
That's a very difficult question, but I will tell you that my first attraction I ever went on was Pirates of the Caribbean, and that has always held a very special place in my heart. My cousin, when we first moved from Illinois to California in the early 80s, we came here, they had the rope across Main Street. They said, everyone please walk to your first attraction. My cousin took off sprinting to Pirates, and we were trying to keep up after him. But that was my first ride, loved it, and have loved it ever since.
That's wonderful. Earlier, when we were doing the publicity for this live, and I wanted to post a picture of you and let everyone know that you were going to be joining us today, I asked, what song should I use in the Instagram post? Like, I said, Stephen, if you were a Disney song, what song would you be? And you said,
well, I was desperately trying to think of a Disney song that I could be, but I did choose I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
That's right.
But I was feeling nostalgic because we were kind of in the Main Street area, and right above Main Street on the second floor of the Opera House is where I had my first office at Disney, which was in the publicity department. And back in the day, that's where they were. And I would, during my lunch, watch the parade on Main Street out the window. It was magical and awesome. I never got tired of walking up to that office.
You actually had a really incredible Disney career because you started in attractions.
Yeah, I was in attractions, so my first job was Submarine Voyage.
Submarine Voyage, and what other
Autopia.
rides? Autopia.
And then I also did the first year of guest control on Fantasmic, which I loved. I watched it 3 to 4 times a night and never got tired of it.
Amazing. So they used to do Fantasmic up to 4 times a night.
Yeah, if they would, they would sometimes add a show.
Because these days it would only be like twice a night, and then in extreme circumstances, like on New Year's Eve or something, they might do a third.
Yeah, it was almost always 3 back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's none.
Now it's none. Very sad.
Knowing that show the way you do, though, and that they're going to have to make changes, they've decided not to rebuild the animatronic dragon.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they end that with Mickey and Maleficent without the iconic dragon. That moment is so, be there when the night ignites was was that original marketing campaign.
Well, the
with the
big
dragon.
question then has Fantasmic been around long enough that it's time for them to do a new over-the-top spectacular, or should something like that remain forever?
Oh, that's a tough one. I always believe in, freshening things up and trying new things, but things like the Main Street Electrical Parade and Fantasmic, just to me personally, define the Disneyland experience, or my Disneyland experience, and I would never want to see them go. When the Electric Parade glowed away all those years ago, I was so glad when it came back.
I'm glad that it came back and that recently it got new additions with the new ending, because I think if you're going to keep something that long, it should stay fresh.
Yes.
Even think of Haunted Mansion. That bride that you all know and love in the attic, well, she wasn't there until fairly recently. There wasn't a Hatbox Ghost. So they have found ways to make updates to Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion and Jungle Cruise to keep them fresh and a little more relevant. And then maybe they can do something like that with Fantasmic. We'll see. I'm very worried about that. But back to you while we make our way over to the big next stop, which is Tiana's Bayou Adventure. After you were in attractions at Disneyland, you ended up in publicity for Disneyland, right?
Well, while I was a ride operator, I wanted to get an internship because I was in college at the time, and my major was communications. So I sent a letter up to the head of corporate communications at the studio and asked if I could be his intern. He said they don't have those up there, but he'd connect me with the head of publicity at Disneyland. He did. I met him. Lindsay Schnebley was the manager of publicity. Great guy. Hired me right away, and I started doing publicity for Disneyland, and I stayed in publicity at the Walt Disney Company for 20 years.
Wow.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, I did stints of publicity at feature animation during the era of like Mulan, Hercules, and Bug's Life, and Disney Channel, stuff like that. Lots
and then ended up at corporate and started D23.
Yep, started D23, oversaw the archives and Disney Corporate Creative Resources. It was very fun. I was with I worked with Xenia Muka, who was the head chief communications officer there for 12 years. She just retired recently from Disney.
Well, I heard that she's now at
TikTok. She's a chief communications and brand officer over there. She just started recently.
It's strange.
She's
to
a
have
great executive. Great
Iger
leader.
back without his right hand, because she
I
really
know,
was
it
his
is
whip.
Weird. Yeah.
If you pissed off Iger, you'd hear from Xenia.
Yeah, that's true.
This
Or
is
if you pissed off Xenia, you'd hear from Xenia.
Yes. We're walking through another really nice forested area, some shade here, which is lovely. But we've got a few more pine trees here because we're entering Critter Country. Now on the train, for those of you who are on the beginning of our video, Stephen mentioned that the way that New Orleans Square and Critter Country kind of could play hand in hand for all the Tiana stuff is that Tiana's restaurant and Tiana's mother's shop, Eudora's Chic Boutique, are located in the city. So you're in New Orleans Square, but the ride is out in a salt mine out in the sticks by the Bayou. And of course that wouldn't be in New Orleans, and there are no bayous in New Orleans. So you'd be in the critter country, where all the critters are, like the gators and birds and fireflies and all of that.
And the bayous are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the city, so.
In a way, but really wasn't that close. I think we were 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes, yeah. Wasn't too bad.
Looking at the island there, one of these days, very soon, I promise to take you all onto the island, but today is not that day. Just about now, they start getting ready for the new nighttime entertainment on the river.
Oh my God, I love his shirt, feeling plunderful.
They have a character named Queenie that floats out on one of the Tom Sawyer Island barges and sings with the Jambalaya Jazz Band. You can see the decorations on the side of that barge over there. And they're really lovely. They do 3 songs. It's about a 15-minute set. They float out around the front of the river there, and then they float back. They do that periodically until fireworks. It's no replacement for Fantasmic, but it's nice that they're doing anything at all. We're going to take you over to the right here because this is the future Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now, we did kind of ride the rails past it. Lots of things to see here, so we're going to zoom in so you can see. So hang with me here 1 second, folks. Now, there's the top of the mountain, no log up there, so the top of Chickapin Hill there is gone. But just underneath there, over where the drop is, looks like a ski run. And that's really a trash chute that they have built so that they can send little chunks of concrete and plaster and stuff that they're removing from the mountain down that chute into giant dumpsters and bags. We also saw, we'll show you, huge sacks of dirt in the old flume.
And you said the archives had gone in there and tagged
everything. It was like a crime scene. Every single item had a tag, and they were different colors.
Amazing.
So you can kind of tell that this color means trash it, and this color means, you know, send it to the archives, and this color means keep it. Here's the photo op, seen now a few times, and Stephen was mentioning the Tiana Foods, employee owned, coming soon.
Southern Dome Salt Company.
Very confusing for guests who don't know what's happening to their old favorite ride.
And
it looks like it looks like they're making it into a restaurant, right? But they aren't. This is very confusing to guests. So we haven't been coming all the way back here on recent videos. There wasn't much to see, but right now I'm going to zoom in again. So you can see, sadly, that all the signs in all those clever little puns and things that used to be on the wall have all been removed. All gone. Here's another trash chute kind of thing at the very back over here that'll be hard for you all to see, but throughout the old mountain there are a few spots where they've been junking things. Finally, the statue of Brer Fox, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear is gone.
Someone's little house survived up there in the corner.
Yeah, it has some spray paint on it, so we're worried that it's going to be bulldozed. Is it gone up there now?
It's gone.
It's gone. So Brer Fox's house that we showed you recently has been removed. So basically they're just removing all of the old theming. They're keeping the idea of a mountain. It works. On the inside, you're not going to recognize much. Mike has been very eagle-eyed. I'm going to zoom in and show you a little. red tape there. There used to be some lanterns there, and they've got wires sticking out of the walls. But there won't be a lot for us to see visually until the next big milestone, which is they'll be installing the water tower. And it's for Tiana's Foods, but it'll have a giant crown on top.
Just like the one at
ride.
Disney World.
Yes,
right?
exactly the same.
I will say that the archives taking all of these assets makes me extremely happy, because when I oversaw the archives, we went to Bob, and he approved us implementing an asset management policy that gave the archives, for the first time, first right of refusal on every prop, costume, set piece from every Disney movie, TV show, theme park attraction. And now that stuff will not get lost to the world. It will be preserved in the archives.
That makes so much sense too, because now they have found a way to monetize the archives, and not just with tours. I mean, they do tours, but they also package these things up and do traveling shows. So you might see something at the D23 Expo, and then it's repackaged and sent on the road. But I think they have 3 or 4 shows traveling right now, and it's all stuff from the archives. So they might as well. It's great publicity for the company, allows them to make a little money, and helps pay for all those things they're saving from the...
We had to massively expand the archives warehouse situation in Burbank and Glendale. And you could be driving past some nondescript building, looks like trash, but inside it is temperature controlled and filled with all the most amazing things you could ever hope to see from every corner of Disney. And they also, if you know the Tahunga facility that WDI used to use is there to do all the ride vehicles and whatnot, the archive is a massive building. The archives took that over.
Oh.
So they're redoing a lot of that, and it'll be a very nice, high-quality archival facility.
Well, they own so much more now, because they have all of Lucasfilm, they have all of Pixar, they now have Fox.
Becky called me one day, and she told me, "You're not going to believe what just came. Shipping cargo crates full of everything from London, from all the Star Wars movies."
Whoa.
And she said, "You're not going to believe," because she knows I'm a Star Wars fan. She's like, "We have a full A-wing." I'm like, and then she started telling me other things, pieces of Millennium Falcon. I'm like, gosh. You had me at A-wing.
That's awesome. We are walking by an attraction that is just about to close, so it can become a Halloween and Christmas ride. Haunted Mansion will be becoming Haunted Mansion Holiday, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Speaking of Halloween, there was a question about Oogie Boogie Bash and what your thoughts are on it starting earlier, as Walt Disney World started theirs tonight.
Yeah, Walt Disney World is starting their Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party tonight, this evening. We'll have a couple of our staff members there tonight, so you'll be able to hear more about it, about the event and the foods very soon. But could they do that here at Disneyland? I think they could. It's even hotter in Florida than it is here. And in the evenings, it cools down in California, so it would feel more like Halloween here than it would there. Plus, all of the nights sold out for the Disneyland event, Oogie Boogie Bash, over at California Adventure. They did not sell out in Florida, so you can still buy tickets to go to the Florida event on certain nights, but you can't at Disneyland. So could they add nights? They absolutely could. So we are taking a look here at Tiana's Palace. A few things to see. We're going to look at this side first. You can see the sign there. I'm going to zoom in. There's Tiana's Palace sign, very lovely. And if we move a little further back, you'll be able to see the smokestacks. Giant T there between the smokestack for Tiana's. There's a wheelhouse. Really, the building is exactly the same as it was before. The only thing they did was add that wheelhouse, the smokestacks, and the sign. And then they did some lovely enhancements. We'll take you over to the train station and kind of look down just a little bit. But they added lots of shade for the courtyard there, and it's all done as sort of banners, cloth banners, so they can move them if they need to. They didn't have to set up a permanent roof. They had a lot of lighting, most of it popcorn style lighting. And here's what the concept art looked like. The only difference between this concept art and what they actually built was they added more lighting. So there's more shade and there's more lighting that they added than the concept art, which is great because one of the problems with that patio, especially at lunchtime, was always not enough shade. One thing it doesn't do for us is rain protection, so if it's rainy, still not a good place to go. We're going to go up here and look back and just show you a few things. So first of all, we're going to zoom in. Signage is going to be going in here any minute now. Underneath there you see the windows for the Mint Julep Bar. It is returning as the Mint Julep Bar. It will have the beignets and the mint juleps. The patio is completely set now with tables and chairs. A few tables are upside down where they're storing some equipment, but for the most part, the tables are placed and with the chairs around them. So if they brought this wall down tomorrow, it would look okay in there. They have also removed all of the paper wrap from the windows, revealing that they are mostly done on the inside as well. They've even removed the paper from the windows of Club 33 above. They didn't want the club members looking down on the construction. But it's just about done enough now that they didn't need to worry about that. So they're ready to go here at Tiana's Palace. Oh yeah, that's nice. I'm going to zoom in again. Mike noticed something. The sales for the pirate ship had been down, but they have replaced the sales for the pirate ship. There is a ship in harbor. Arr.
I probably knew what that flag was flying there. Do you know what it is?
I
can't remember.
I'm too blind to see it, but it
State of Louisiana?
Must be Louisiana or New Orleans, something like that. So it really is the side of the park with all of the work going on because we have that big ride construction for Tiana, this restaurant construction, the Fantasmic redo, and then the Adventureland treehouse. That's all on the west side of the park. So almost everything going on at Disneyland right now is on this side of the park. The Fantasmic towers are up, not because there's any Fantasmic tonight, but because they do projections and things for Queenie. So when she starts coming out, they use the lighting from these towers to project onto mist screens and onto the fountains. And then later they use it for the fireworks. I think Stephen and I are going to try and stay for fireworks tonight. Lovely restaurant. This is the restaurant I thought they should have turned into Tiana's. They could have made it a nicer table service kind of establishment, but I think it's working over where it is. Probably they decided that rather than adding a character right in the heart of New Orleans, they kind of tuck it off to the side behind the trees. It's much less noticeable from here. You don't see the smokestacks. They've been serving the beignets and mint juleps over here. Looking up there at Walt and Roy's balcony, Walt Disney's initials and Roy Disney's initials. Not busy, folks. The entire queue for Pirates is held inside the courtyard here. So probably a 15-minute wait at most for Stephen's favorite ride.
Yeah.
We're looking here at the next big thing. This is going to be opening soon. They've installed the water wheel. They're working on all of the contraptions that deliver the water from the wheel up into the upper branches of the treehouse. I see some pipes and things up there. I'm going to zoom in. It's going to be hard to see. See up from the top there, you can just make out behind the scrim some props and things that are up there on the rooftop. All of the buildings are now installed. Some final props are being put in, but this is mostly done. Even if we look back into the courtyard there, you'll see some things in the courtyard. There's a lion statue and some sideways looking props and things down there. There's also a ladder. They're still actively working. I'm excited about this one. Because it's exciting, but because it's an old attraction essentially returning. Oh, question about whether or not I'll be broadcasting for fireworks. I'm not, but only because I recently did record the fireworks from a great spot So if you check our YouTube, it was live, so you have to click the live tab on the Mice Chat YouTube, and you'll see that video. It was an amazing video, so I think tonight I'll just try to enjoy the fireworks. Little tag hanging from this fixture. It's because they haven't installed the lantern that will be hanging from it. We can almost, I'm gonna check and see if I can see through the fence. Oh yeah. I'm gonna let Mike look through the fence. Mike has got better eyes than I do. Or even Steven, look at them. All these kids looking through the fence here for the Adventureland treehouse.
Need a slightly bigger peephole.
Yes. We don't talk about peepholes on the Mice Chat podcast.
My bad.
50-minute wait for Indiana Jones, and we rode Indy earlier. Looked mostly good. There was only one major effect that wasn't working, and the projections on Mara as you enter were not on, but they had some nice lighting on her, so it looked impressive anyway.
Yeah, they did, and all the fire effects and all that.
I don't know anything about breakfast at River Bell, unfortunately. I would love for River Bell to bring back breakfast, but I haven't heard anything. Breakfast has been really hard to get at the Disneyland Resort in recent years. There haven't been a lot of great breakfast opportunities, but they do a good breakfast on Main Street at both. What's the cafe called? The Carnation Cafe. They do a great breakfast, and then just across at Plaza Inn, they do a character breakfast. So if you've got kiddos, that is your single best tip for the day. Do the breakfast at Plaza Inn, let them get their fill of all the characters. The characters come to you while you're eating, and then you don't have to worry about waiting in long lines for the rest of the day to see more characters. We're gonna come up here for 1 second so you can see what's going on, and it is not a busy day today, folks. So, but this is the bathroom for men and women in Adventureland. It is closed. Of course, the pipes burst over a month ago, and it's taken them forever to fix. But the walls have now come all the way out, almost to a trickle for traffic flow. You have just enough room for one guest to walk in and one guest to walk out, and it crowds up. When you get strollers and wheelchairs in, it makes it really, really hard.
You can see the rock work.
Yeah, all torn out there. I'm gonna zoom in. But you can see that big green waterfall that was there. It's almost completely been removed. I did get a great photo that I shared in last week's Monday update showing you that's just a giant dirt pit in there with some trenches where they dug down to the pipe. That is mostly being filled in now. It's going to take them a while to restore all of this. Also a very lovely spot up here. So while we're looking at the mess of the traffic flow in that gigantic construction area for the burst pipe, you can also see that there's this lovely river here with rocks and plants with the water flowing. And people forget that there is a river system that runs from the castle all the way through Adventureland into the Jungle Cruise and then eventually into the Rivers of America. It's called the Dark Water System. There's more of it here. It flows all the way down to Tropical Hideaway and then pours into the Jungle Cruise. There was a period of time when they tried to do fish in the Dark Water System. They did have it in certain areas, like around Big Thunder.
Oh, it's kind of like soft serve. Yes, you're right.
But you can see how tight this walkway is. Sort of a mess. Of course, after this pipe burst, there was another burst pipe over at the Grand Californian at Storytellers. We shared lots of photos of that. Happened during a busy dining period. They had to evacuate the restaurant. The water was pouring in. But they ripped up the carpet. They dug down, they pulled all this dirt up. I've got pictures of the mounds of dirt. And in a week, they were able to fix the pipe, put the dirt back, lay new concrete, put carpet down, put all of the tables back, and they were able to fix that restaurant up in just a week. I wish they would do that to Adventureland. That was nasty there. So why is today so uncrowded? Well, because tickets are at their highest price today. But starting this coming week, we have days coming up that are $104. So there's more of an incentive than ever for people to delay. Hello, how are you?
Hi, hi, hi.
Are you enjoying your Disney day?
Yes.
Oh, it's very humid, so good luck.
Well,
But
we're from Hawaii, so we know about.
oh my goodness! And what a crazy situation! Are you from Maui?
No.
Thank goodness, right? It's crazy. Mike just wrote an article today. We focused on Alani and the Hawaiian spirit, and included all the links to help the poor folks from Maui. Unbelievable to see.
Costco's doing a lot of work right now, like getting supplies and sending them, and then actually Oprah's there. So she's
Oprah's there in Hawaii.
right now.
Oh, wow.
You get a house, and you get a house, and you get a house. So I hope that's the case.
You know, it'd be great if Disney could come in and do like a scrim of like the old Lahaina.
Yes.
Make it look the way it was.
Well, Disney could. I mean, Disney could rebuild Lahaina, but then they would want to charge everyone for Genie Plus to get into the restaurants without waiting. Yes. So we have to think twice about it. So nice to see you all. Enjoy the rest of your trip here to Disneyland. Bye. Those folks were from Hawaii, and as I said to them, Mike wrote a really lovely article for today's Mice Shots. We normally do Disneyland shots, but we really felt it was important to find a way for our readers to help the situation in Hawaii. So we shared lovely photos we had of Disney's Alani and talked a little bit about the Hawaiian spirit, and then included links to ways that you can help all of those folks in Hawaii that are suffering so terribly right now. You enter Main Street here, and it feels like another world. The music puts you into a time and place. The buildings are just perfect. Of course, they're all scale buildings, but it's just the feeling of Main Street puts you into the Disneyland mood, whether you're coming or going. We're taking a little side trip here because our readers have a favorite thing in the whole world. And inside Plaza Point, just as you enter, there are 3 dolls that get decorated for the season. And they had recently been red, white, and blue for 4th of July and Memorial Day and Labor Day, but now they are decorated for the holidays. So the children of the corn are just perfect for the upcoming Halloween season.
Well, they changed them. The patriotic
Yes,
ones
for
are
every season. And
I
right
think they
now,
watched your show last week.
not only are they trying to suck your soul, but they're decorated appropriately for the
This is
occasion.
so cute.
I love that piece. Like we've been noticing
it.
just how much darker the Halloween merchandise is this year. Natalie, do you like the new look?
I do. I think it is very different this year, and I do think it's going to appeal to a wider age range.
I do, and more to both boys and girls
Yes.
than previous years. This is kind of cool. It lights up. It's kind of a
that's cool.
multi-dimensional sign kind of a thing.
Well, Dusty, you and I were talking earlier about how some of this merch is reflective of like the new Mickey shorts, where he's more mischievous and
Yes.
fun and
A little darker.
a little darker,
tone.
yeah.
So here are the decorations. You have creepy masks on the top, very vintage looking. Some masks and heads of witches and skulls and cats and things here. They all have that vintage look. These are not actually vintage pieces. All done by Disney's Decor department, so the same department that dresses Main Street and things. And then the rest of the store is Christmas. So last week they had 3 holidays in here. They had patriotic, they had Halloween, and they had Christmas, and now it's just Halloween and Christmas. Here's the new wreath. Actually, they had this wreath up last year, and we love how the eyes of the skulls light up.
I could do a lot of damage in this shop, and I probably will after the fireworks.
We're going to ask Natalie about the Hatbox Ghost Sippers. Are they sold out now or just for the day?
They are sold out now, that is correct.
So the word on the street from the vendors in the stands is that the Hatbox Ghost Sippers are now sold out. It doesn't mean that they won't find a box of them in a warehouse somewhere and put them back out, but for now they are sold out.
As a consolation prize, you could get the Hatbox Ghost ornament at Plaza Point.
They had some cool ones.
They did.
I mean, I think that in recent years, since they brought the Hatbox Ghost back to death, because he was built for the Haunted Mansion, and the effect just didn't work, so he was removed really before any guests got to know him, and then he became the subject of myth until they realized he wasn't a myth. He was a real thing, and Disney brought him back and put him in the ride using new technology that really works. He is probably one of the biggest highlights of that ride for a lot of people, and now they do a lot of merchandise for him, and it goes really well. People love the Hatbox Ghost.
Oh, there's Dave Smith's window.
Pointed out to us there. You worked with Dave Smith for a long time.
He's the one who was my reference to be a Disneyland ride operator.
Wow. It's his right here, the Historical Society window. We'll zoom in. That's Dave Smith's window up there.
Preserving, protecting, and presenting our fond memories of the past.
Dave Smith.
Yep, that sums it up.
Dave was very soft-spoken, but he really did a lot for creating the archive program.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing before that. 50 years of Disney history, and he had to do a huge catch-up job when he started the archives.
Probably with a very shoestring budget and the tiniest staff imaginable.
Yeah, he was pretty efficient with the dollar, so. Yeah.
Sadly, folks, these windows are all broken here at the Emporium, so all of the animated windows are once again dark and frozen. It's a very sad situation. If you're looking for places to pick up the Halloween merchandise, right over here, Clothiers on Main Street, the Main Street hotel building right there, has a great selection of holiday merchandise. It's fully decorated for Halloween in there. It's a great way to go. We're going to boogie on over to California Adventure and end this video over in San Francisco. So you're getting two parks for the price of one today. These folks are lining up for the parade.
I was going to mention, when you were talking about breakfast, Lamplight Lounge apparently also has a brunch. I went over there today.
Oh my gosh,
and it looked like a pretty good menu.
It's only offered on the weekends. It is fantastic. Lamplight Lounge brunch. We have an article about it somewhere on my chat. You look up Lamplight Lounge brunch, not Lamplight Brunch Lounge. Works either way. We are going to pop in here really quick to Disneyana. Our good friend Dave Avanzino is the artist in residence today. Do you know Dave?
I don't think so.
He does all those really cool shadow boxes.
Oh, cool.
And he recently moved away, but they send him here and to Walt Disney World to showcase his shadow boxes. He's famous. He's created these letter boxes of all the different letters in using attraction signs, and he'll make your name. So here's an example of his name.
Oh, amazing.
With little pieces from different attractions. We may have missed him, but here's some of his artwork. He's got some new maps that I absolutely love. So there's the one for Pirates. Here's the one for Jungle Cruise. And I think they're super fun. There's Dave. Dave Avanzino, it's Mice Chat here. We just wanted to say hi and let everybody see your face because we've been promoting you being here today. But how's it going? Oh, yes, let's say it's us. So what are you showing off today?
Well, I've got several paper sculptures. This is one of my new ones.
Oh, this is great.
Called Best Friends.
You can see how dimensional they are, folks, because the paper
and that
cuts
one's
them.
also available as a large canvas, a small canvas.
I saw the canvas was up here yesterday, and there it is. So you can get it as a print as well as the actual dimensional version, and very affordable. So if you want to take home Dave's work, it doesn't cost a gajillion dollars, although it can.
It can.
It definitely can.
Nothing's quite a gajillion.
Yeah, and Dave cuts all these pieces himself and assembles them and does a lot of work. And you're still doing your letterboxes, and that's been going forever. Any new letters or designs that you've been adding?
No. Some hopefully coming, but yeah.
Well, I love it. You are one of our favorites, so I was so glad that as we were walking out on our video that I saw you in here, so we could say howdy.
Thank you.
Take care, my friend. So good to see you.
You too.
He gave me one of these for my 50th birthday, folks, and I still keep it around.
How many years has that been?
It's been too long. We're not answering that. I love the penguins here.
That's my last one. of that edition.
Amazing.
So, got a couple people hovering trying to get it.
Uh-oh.
So.
I better hurry. Thanks, Dave. Great to see you. So they were also doing some sort of magic key giveaway in there of an old piece that they found more of, but there's a new one that's over at California Adventure. If you go to Disney Junior, there's a new piece of art they printed out, and they're giving away to magic key holders. So stop by Disney Junior and pick up your freebie. I don't pick that stuff up anymore. I have nowhere to put things. So I don't buy posters, I don't pick up little random pieces of printed stuff. Has to really be something I really, really want and need before I buy Disney collectibles anymore.
I'm sort of in the same spot. I have a basement full of amazing treasure trove of Disney stuff that I've accumulated through the years, but I haven't added to it in a while. Books, yes. I will add any Disney book.
I have a garage two-car garage that I can only park one car in because the other side is filled with boxes of Disney memorabilia piled all the way to the ceiling. And I have no clue what I have. And over the years, I found I have bought things multiple times because I'll see it and think, oh, I need that. And then realize later that I had already had it.
That's funny. We put in a new air conditioning system in our house, so we had to move all the boxes to one side of the basement. So as I was moving them, I looked through them. Some amazing stuff from like the first D23 Expo and like when I was at Disneyland opening Indiana Jones, and oh my God, I got like lost in the basement.
Hello, thank you. You too. Date night at Disneyland. What a great old song, right?
That is a great song.
This has to have been like a Jack Linquist-y kind of a promo. It's fantastic. Oh, we're so lucky. There's no long line to get in.
There's a question for Steven about, do you have any behind the scenes of attraction stories to share?
Oh,
well, I do remember one time we were at Disney World, and Becky and I were there for, it must have been a D23 event, I forget which one, but we all of a sudden got a notice from theme park operations that they were in the process of rehabbing the Haunted Mansion, and if we wanted to come in and take anything from the attic sequence, because they were going to be trashing everything and like getting rid of it, that we could have it. So we pretty much went in. The archives has almost every asset that was in that was in that attic.
In the original attic.
And so Becky and I were in there, and it is so dusty and filthy in that attic. It was kind of gross. We were so dirty, covered in but we filled a tractor trailer truck full of all the assets from the Haunted Mansion and a few other places around the park too. Because once you start those people talking, then they tell you where everything's hidden, and you're like, yes, we'll take it all. Becky was a lot of fun to go treasure hunting with.
You're like the Indiana Jones of Disney. Well, now Indiana Jones is the Indiana Jones of Disney.
He is.
It's owned by Disney. But... yeah, when they close a ride, like the Great Movie Ride, there's a lot of history in there to be preserved, and I can't imagine that they would just forever just keep adding things. Like at some point, do they have to make decisions on what to keep and what to get rid of, or sell things?
Yeah, to a degree, but as they've expanded their exhibition strategy, or the exhibitions they're doing around the world, there's more and more need for some of those assets, and Disney loves to celebrate a good anniversary or do a retrospective on a park. There's always a reason to keep some of those things around, but we try to take really the hero props and costumes, so it's not like there's just an exhaustive, we could reconstruct the attraction.
Right.
It is selective, but it's a lot.
And then in addition to archives, I imagine Imagineering saves a lot of stuff on their own.
Yeah, they do. They'll save some animatronics because they'll want to redo them, use the parts for another animatronic, stuff like that. So we only take it if they're definitely not going to use it anymore. I say we, I'm not with the archives anymore, but Becky and her team.
We're almost time for them to start preparing Halloween here at California Adventure. So in the next week or so, you're going to start seeing some lights pop up. There are already lights in this tree, and those are for the purple lights for Halloween. And it takes them quite a while to prepare. Soaring is still behind construction scrims, but the ride is open. So if you walk over there and you see construction walls, don't freak. Long line over here to see Donald. Nice shade here. Over at Epcot, they start their festivals at the beginning of the year and they just keep going all year long. They go from one festival to the next with maybe a week in between them. Here at California Adventure, they start the year that way, but then the rest of the year has nothing until they do Festival of Holidays. Would you like to see festivals here year round?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. There isn't anyone else here.
I will tell you that just that little one-liner you gave, I am dying to go back for food and wine at Epcot.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Food and wine, Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden, Festival of the Holidays, they're all fantastic.
All great. Yeah. Yeah, they're all
But
cool.
this feels like a festival park to me, and it has so few attractions compared to Disneyland. I just feel like if it had festivals year-round, it would be a no-brainer to make this a stop on every trip.
Yeah, I mean, it adds a whole new dynamic sensibility to the parks, and they certainly have the room for it.
But a lot of loud noise coming from Avengers Campus there, so some sort of show is going on. To tell you folks, I appreciate that there's so much entertainment there. Avengers Campus is not my favorite spot, but there's so much entertainment going on constantly in that little land. They're really trying, unlike Galaxy's Edge, which is gigantic and has very little entertainment. Princess balloons, it's Princess Week coming up soon, Natalie. So they're getting ready for Halloween over here in Cars Land. Normally there are only light posts to your left, but now you see some wooden poles to your right. And that's because they string things between the posts and they put up their Halloween decor. We're going to be going into the old Pacific Wharf, the new Big Hero 6 inspired San Francisco soon, but I want to show you the bridge from the walkway here first. This video is coming close to its end. We're going to show you all the San Francisco stuff, then we're going to take one last moment with Steven. So if you've got questions for Steven, let us know, and then we will be saying good night to you shortly, so hang on with us here to the bitter end. Here is the San Francisco Bridge. They are just about to start installing some giant pieces on the bridge. Suzanne was with me last night, and we were able to see, all right, zooming, there we go. We were able to see some huge pieces that they had prepped on the bridge to get ready to put them up. And that bridge needs to be done by August 30th, which is when this land is supposed to officially open. Some props have been installed up here. You see some, I don't know if those are hockey jackets or what those are, but there's some jackets that have been put in there. They have like fishing things that have been installed on some of the balconies over here. Some nets, are those, what do you think those are, like crab nets? Crab traps. Mike knows a crab trap when he sees one. We'll leave it at that. Bait and tackle. But you see they've added so many characters and things to the outside of this building, all of it new. The silo at the bakery is covered. They're painting all sort of signage on that. And almost everything that they've done for this new land is signage. So it's all paint and signage and smoke and mirrors because the land itself is not being rebuilt. They're adding a Baymax meet and greet, they're adding a store, they've added some signage, they've changed some menus, and that's it. That's all they've done is paint. But it works. It feels, you know, like a very fun spot, but all the things you loved about the land are still here. So you see even at Ghirardelli there, they've added the characters up above, and what do you call those type of characters, Natalie? Like the
That's katakana.
Katakana.
And that's hiragana over there.
So different types of characters.
And there's kanji other places as well.
So kanji, hiragana, and katakana?
That's correct.
I'm learning. He learns. San Francisco Tribune. Pacific Wharf Canning Company will come down because that's part of the old Pacific Wharf. Some fun new stuff here I'll show you. The Big Hero 6 kind of like spray paint, like graffiti art on the building here. They added a dragon up there, we'll see in a second. But the SFS here is San Francisco Square. BH6 is for Big Hero 6, of course with the heart. And let's see if we can find the hidden Mickeys. I'll zoom in slowly for you. Hidden Mickey. See if we can find the one here. You know when you see it. We found him. Lots of wonderful signage up there. You see the fish under Wind Sink Clean Technology. And we're going to see the actual fish up there in just a second. But first, here on the side of Lucky Fortune, they put this incredible dragon art up there. Very popular dining location since they put the new menu in. And Rita's has been absolutely covered in puns. So we're going to zoom in for Matthew Baumgartner, who loves a good pun, but it's all electricity and wind jokes. It reminds me very much of DCA 1.0, which was just filled with puns, but you'll be blown away by our great service. Call for all of your turbine repair needs. What are you waiting for? See what's on the back side here. And you see they added all of that electricity, so all of those wires, that is part of the theming up there. Walt would not have loved that, but it plays into the pun. When you're ready for wind power, make Rita your first call. Let Rita take charge of your maintenance. Why are you looking anywhere else? Need a fix? Rita Conduit.
Someone had a good time over margaritas.
Get it? Oh my God, those are margarita jokes. You need to have had many margaritas. And we're gonna have to ask Natalie if she knows that one, but enlightened service for shockingly low prices, call Rita today. And then Natalie, that's gotta be a joke in, what is that, kanji?
It's actually hiragana and kanji.
Got it.
But something about wind power, electricity.
And I see the white stuff behind this part, so that has to be some sort of electricity joke right there. Yes. So, you know, all the stuff in here has been done, even in different languages, to play into the Big Hero 6 universe. That's fun. And I love that giant wind-powered fish. It actually, when the wind blows, it moves a little bit. So it's incredibly well balanced. So when the wind blows, it moves.
It does look like there's a motor up there.
It does. I think that once the land opens, the blades are going to move, but the whole fish moves around as well.
Ah, cool.
We saw it kind of rotating a little bit last night in the wind. And there's the Rita sign. So they had a temporary sign up the other day that was very flat. The new one is more dimensional and has those blades on it, little turbine blades. So they have put in a more dimensional sign. And then last few little things here before we wrap up. I feel like we're really getting our exercise in here, but there's some fun karaoke signage up here. DJ Music Dude Karaoke Nightly. It would be fun if they actually had karaoke.
That's a great graphic.
Isn't that? And what you're seeing right here is the Baymax meet and greet. Those walls are ready to come down, so they'll be down soon. And this is the new shop directly underneath Kusina Cucamonga is the new shop right there. And that's almost ready. And this is a cast member only area, but you can see that this signage that looks like it's been there forever is brand new. And it's telling us that competitors can go down Good Luck Alley. And there's also a little bit of bot fighting art back there. The problem is this is a cast member only area and they've decorated it so guests are going to want to walk back here all the time. Well, Steven, this was a really fun
Yeah, it was great.
walkthrough. I hope you got your steps in for the day.
I did.
It was worth getting sweaty and walking through the sun. And we walked from one end of the park, from back in Toontown, all the way to the opposite end of the park here. We're almost in Radiator Springs. So that was good. I don't need to do the Disney
Great
half marathon
accomplishment.
because we just did one.
I know we did. No, it was great hanging out with you and the guys. Very
Absolutely.
fun.
Well, why stop now? Why don't we get ourselves a drink here at the
do
new
it.
Cerveceria that's right over there. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. I'm going to turn us around so you can see us as well. Goodbye here. Steve and I, really us and not some
Bye.
AI chat bot. we are still real for now.
That's right.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back with you again
Bye.
real
So long.
soon. Bye-bye, everybody.